They fired me between spoonfuls of lentil soup. 8 years of running payroll for 12,000 construction workers, gone in a conversation that felt like rescheduling a dentist appointment. My aunt didn't even pretend it was strategic. She smiled in that thin, managerial way and said her daughter's MBA came with systems optimization expertise, translation an Excel sheet with color-coded tabs. I looked at my parents. Majority shareholders, my safety net theoretically. Just keep the peace, my mother said softly, eyes lowered to the tablecloth. Keep the peace. I had kept the peace when project managers missed submission deadlines, and I stayed up until 3 a.m., recalculating overtime so welders in Faisalabad wouldn't bounce rent checks. I kept the peace when a site supervisor screamed because his cruise hazard bonuses were delayed by one banking holiday. Payroll isn't numbers, it's electricity bills, school fees, groceries. It's men who climb scaffolding trusting that someone in an office won't misplace their hours. But none of that fit into a tidy Excel template. So that's it, I asked. 8 years, and you're replacing me with a spreadsheet. With progress? My aunt corrected. I waited for my father to interrupt. To say something practical, at least. He didn't. He folded his napkin carefully, as if neatness could soften what was happening. That was the moment the split inside me became clear. There was the daughter, and there was the payroll director. The daughter wanted to swallow it, to avoid embarrassing anyone. To preserve Sunday dinners, the payroll director understood compliance codes, authorization hierarchies, banking cutoffs, and labor board audits. I slipped my badge off and let it fall into the soup bowl. It made a soft, almost polite sound. "You've got until payday," I said evenly. "After that, no authorization, no release. The crews don't get paid." It wasn't a threat, it was process. For a second, my aunt looked amused. Then she realized I wasn't raising my voice. I walked out before anyone responded. By evening, my phone was vibrating nonstop. Site managers, HR, finance. No one else had final authorization access. My credentials were tied to regulatory certification. My digital signature was registered with the bank and the labor compliance office. You don't just hand that over because someone has a new degree. The next morning, I was on a video call with the company's legal and compliance officer. Not family, not emotional, just facts. If payroll is disrupted, he said calmly, the company faces statutory penalties per employee per day. That's 12,000 violations. The labor board will initiate a review, possibly a freeze on active government contracts. Silence on the other end. My aunt tried to reframe it as a transitional hiccup. He didn't blink. There is no transitional hiccup in payroll. For the first time, my father spoke, not as my father, but as a shareholder. What do you recommend? Retain her under formal contract until certified transfer is complete, the officer replied. With operational autonomy. Operational autonomy. The phrase hung in the air like a verdict. They didn't apologize. That would have required acknowledging something beyond logistics. Instead, my aunt called me privately. "This has become unnecessarily dramatic," she said. "No," I answered. "It became procedural. I didn't ask for my job back. I offered a 6-month transition contract, independent authority over payroll operations. Clear reporting lines, no interference from anyone, including family." She agreed. She had no leverage left. The contract was signed by evening. When I returned to the office, nothing looked different. Same glass doors, same security guard nodding hello, but something subtle had shifted. Supervisors stopped by my desk more deliberately. The finance team asked questions with a new layer of respect. Word had traveled, not about the argument, but about the compliance call. Authority doesn't always shout. Sometimes it cites penalties. Payday arrived without incident. 12,000 transfers processed. Not a rupee late. My mother texted that night dinner on Sunday.